All right, buckle up, everybody, because today we are taking a deep dive into the wildest Hunter X Hunter fan theories. You know, the ones that make you rethink everything and send you scrambling back to the episodes for clues.
Yeah, some of these theories are just mind-blowing. It's
Yeah.
really amazing how fans can take a story and just dissect it and come up with these really insightful interpretations.
Oh, absolutely. And our source material this time is a podcast called Hunter X Hunter Fan Theories Explored. They go into some really interesting stuff.
Oh yeah, listen to that one. It's a good one.
Yeah, it's great. Okay, so first up, we got to talk about Gon, right? Specifically, that insane power boost he got during the Chimera Ant arc.
Oh yeah. That was something else.
I mean, talk about a game changer. Some fans think that wasn't just a one-time thing, but actually a glimpse into his potential as a specialist.
Right, because remember, specialists are like those Nen users with totally unique, hard to categorize abilities. And Gon's transformation, it definitely didn't fit neatly into his enhancer category, did it?
No, no, not at all. So what do you think? Is there a chance we're looking at a specialist in hiding? And if so, how would that play out later on?
Well, we know men is super tied to personality and emotion, right?
Excellent.
And given Gon's fierce loyalty and how far he'll go to protect his friends, his potential specialist abilities could be just insanely powerful. I mean, imagine a Nen ability based on pure, unadulterated rage.
Whoa, that's terrifying. But it would definitely make him a force to be reckoned with. And it would make sense, you know, considering his family history. I mean, his dad, Jinging, is a specialist. And Nan abilities, well, they can be hereditary.
Oh, for sure.
So do you think we're going to see Gon walking in his father's footsteps?
Well,
Like, even more powerful?
it's definitely possible, but what's even more fascinating to me is the idea that maybe Nen categories aren't as fixed as we think they are. Like maybe Gon's transformation suggests that Nen potential is way more fluid, way more dynamic than we've seen before.
Oh, that's an interesting thought. Okay, so think about this. What if Gon's future abilities kind of like blur the lines between enhancer and specialist? He could be this unpredictable powerhouse, drawing from both categories. What do you think? Will we ever see him reach that level of power again? Or was that transformation, you know, like a tragic one-time event?
That's a tough one. I guess only time will tell.
Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and journey to the most dangerous and mysterious place in the Hunter X Hunter world, the Dark Continent. There's this theory that's really been capturing people's imaginations. It's kind of a big one. What if the Dark Continent is where Nen actually originated?
Oh, wow.
Like you're saying, everything we know about Nen, the whole system, all those techniques, it all started in that unexplored wilderness.
Precisely. Think about the creatures that live there, the calamities. They totally defy our understanding of Nen, right?
Right.
What would they represent the earliest forms of Nen? Raw and untamed. Maybe they're like ancient Nen users or even beings with godlike powers.
So, the Dark Continent isn't just a place to explore. It's like going back to the source, like uncovering the roots of humanity's connection to Nen. Do you think we'll ever see it fully explored in the story?
I don't know. It's hard to say. But it's definitely a tantalizing possibility. It makes you wonder, could exploring the Dark Continent unlock the true potential of Nen itself?
Yeah. And what risks come with that kind of knowledge?
Right, exactly.
Oh man, this is getting intense. Okay, but before we get completely lost on the Dark Continent, we got to talk about Hisoka. He's such a wild card.
He is.
There's this fan theory that adds a whole other layer to his mystique. Some think his obsession with fighting strong opponents is all part of a bigger plan. Like he's trying to create this ultimate battle royale to find the absolute strongest fighter in the world.
It would definitely fit his character. I mean, he's always seeking out those who can push him to his limits, right?
Right, and he's not shy about it either.
Oh, yeah, no subtlety there.
Gon, Killua, they're all part of his twisted game. And think about it, all those seemingly random appearances he makes, always stirring up trouble. Maybe he's actually manipulating events behind the scenes, like he's orchestrating these epic clashes to happen. He's not just chaotic, he's like a puppet master.
Ooh, I like that, a puppet master. Yeah, and his fascination with Gon and Killua takes on a whole new meaning if you look at it that way. He's not just interested in fighting them, he's investing in their growth, almost like he's cultivating his future opponents.
It's like he's playing a long game, building up to this ultimate showdown. But it makes you wonder about his motives, you know? Is he purely driven by this desire to find the strongest fighter? Or are there even deeper, darker reasons behind his action?
Right. Is he truly evil or just driven by some, I don't know, some twisted sense of purpose?
What do you think?
I honestly don't know. He's a tough one to figure out.
Yeah. He really is. Okay, well, let's shift our focus to the Hunter Association for a minute. Remember all the challenges it's faced. Internal conflicts, threats like the Chimera ants, and now the looming danger of the Dark Continent. There's this fan theory that suggests the Hunter Association is on the verge of a massive transformation. Maybe even like a revolution.
Wow.
Think about the issues we've seen, right? Corruption, abuse of power, infighting. It all points to some deep-seated problems within the association.
Oh, yeah, for sure. There's definitely a lot of dysfunction there. It makes you wonder, could these internal struggles lead to its downfall?
And what about the next generation of hunters? Gon, Kahlua, Kurapika, they've all seen the darker side of the Hunter Association firsthand. Could they be the ones to spark this revolution?
It's possible. I mean, they've all been disillusioned by the association's flaws in one way or another, right? Their experiences could totally push them to challenge the status quo.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely something to think about. What do you think? Can the Hunter Association survive? Or is it destined to just, like, crumble under the weight of its own problems?
I honestly don't have an answer for that. It could really go either way.
Yeah, for sure. And here's a twist. What if the fate of the Hunter Association is actually tied to the Dark Continent? I mean, it's this huge unknown, full of danger and potential consequences. Could the association's survival actually hinge on the outcome of that expedition?
That's a chilling thought. The Dark Continent represents the unknown, something that's totally beyond the control of the Hunter Association. It could expose their vulnerabilities, lead to their downfall.
So the big question is, will the Hunter Association adapt and evolve, or will it crumble under the pressure?
Yeah, I guess we'll just have to wait and see.
This deep dive is getting seriously intense,
Yeah.
and we've only just scratched the surface.
Oh, yeah. There's so much more to unpack.
Stay with us. We'll be back in a moment to delve even deeper into these fan theories, and we'll uncover some new ones too. And we are back with more HunterXHunter, Hunter fan theory goodness.
That last discussion about the Hunter Association's potential downfall really has me thinking, what if it all goes down during the Dark Continent expedition?
Ooh, that's a good point. The Dark Continent does feel like a catalyst for some major change.
Yeah.
And speaking of potential for change, let's circle back to Gon for a second. We were just exploring the idea that his crazy transformation during the Chimera ant arc might have hinted at, like, some hidden specialist abilities.
Right, because remember, Nan, that life force energy system in HunterXHunter, it can be influenced by emotions, right?
Right.
Especially powerful ones.
Totally.
And Gon's vow to avenge Kite, I mean, that was fueled by some serious grief and rage. Some fans even think that that level of emotional turmoil might have actually been the trigger for unlocking those hidden abilities. Yeah, I could see that. That level of emotional intensity could definitely push someone beyond their perceived limits, especially when it comes to Nen. And remember, his dad, James, is a specialist. So there's a genetic predisposition there, right?
Right.
We still don't know the specifics of Jing's abilities, but maybe we're seeing a similar pattern emerge in Gon, just expressed differently.
It's interesting to consider how Gon's potential specialist abilities might manifest, given his personality and experiences. If his rage played a role in that transformation, what other intense emotions could act as catalysts for his men? What if, like, his protective instincts toward his friends or his unwavering determination could unlock even more powerful abilities?
Oh man, the possibilities are just, they're so fascinating. Imagine Gon developing a Nen ability that draws on his, like, deepest convictions or his fierce loyalty. He could become this unstoppable force driven by the strength of his emotions.
And imagine how unpredictable that would make him in a fight. He could be drawing on a totally different set of abilities, depending on what he's feeling in the moment. But here's a question. Could Gon even control that kind of power? Or would it consume him?
That's a question, isn't it? Especially when you consider the immense power he unleashed during that transformation. Perhaps mastering those specialist abilities, if that's indeed what they are, would require a level of emotional maturity and control that Gon hasn't quite reached yet.
Right. Okay, speaking of hidden potential, let's get back to that theory about the Dark Continent being the origin of Nen. I mean, think about it. If those calamities are like ancient Nen users, wouldn't that mean they have a much, much deeper understanding of how Nen works?
Absolutely. That's what makes this theory so intriguing. It suggests that our current understanding of Nen is just like the tip of the iceberg. Maybe the calamities represent a more primal, less refined form of Nen, something that predates the established categories and techniques we see today.
So basically, going to the Dark Continent is like stepping back in time, to a point before Nen was, systematized and categorized.
Right.
What if there's a whole other level of Nen understanding that we haven't even glimpsed yet, hidden away in that dangerous uncharted territory?
It raises so many questions, right? What if there are like ancient artifacts or lost knowledge just waiting to be discovered on the Dark Continent? Imagine the impact that could have on the world of Hunter x Hunter.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's almost like the Dark Continent is this giant question mark, daring explorers to uncover its secrets. But at what cost? Do you think it's a place where Nen users can push their abilities to the next level? Or is it more like a trap designed to exploit their weaknesses?
I think it's probably a bit of both, you know. The Dark Continent might offer these incredible opportunities for growth and discovery, but those rewards come at a steep price. I mean, remember, even the most experienced hunters barely survived their encounters with the calamities. What does that tell us about the dangers lurking within that vast expanse?
It's a test, a crucible for Nen users,
Yeah.
pushing them to their absolute limits, physically, mentally.
Yeah.
But what about Hisoka? How does he fit into all of this? Remember that theory about him orchestrating this grand battle royale?
Oh, yeah.
He's always been a fascinating character to analyze, right?
Yeah.
He seems to operate on a different level, always like several steps ahead of everyone else.
Yeah.
If he truly is manipulating events to create this ultimate showdown, I mean, it adds a whole new layer of complexity to his actions.
Yeah.
Right? Think about it. His seemingly random appearances, his tendency to stir up trouble, even his decision to spare Gon and Kahlua. What if those were all calculated moves in this grand scheme?
And consider his fascination with Gon and Kalua's potential. He clearly sees something special in them. It's almost like he's grooming them for this future confrontation. It's almost as if he's investing in his own future entertainment, nurturing these young talents to see what they'll become.
Yeah, yeah. But here's the thing. Hisoka thrives on chaos. He loves testing the limits of his own strength and pushing others to theirs. But how can he orchestrate this battle royale if he doesn't even know who will be the strongest fighter?
That's a good point. It suggests that maybe Hisoka isn't as in control as we think he is. Perhaps he's setting the stage, creating the conditions for this ultimate battle to unfold, but ultimately he can't predict the outcome.
So it's not just about finding the strongest fighter. It's about the journey, the thrill of the unknown, the constant testing of limits. And who knows, maybe even Hisoka will be surprised by who emerges victorious in the end.
It's a reminder that even in a world with, extraordinary abilities and calculated strategies, there's always room for the unexpected. And that's what keeps us guessing, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Right.
Okay, now let's shift gears again and dive back into that theory about the Hunter Association being on the verge of a major transformation. Remember, we were discussing the potential for a revolution within the association driven by internal conflicts and the disillusionment of the next generation of hunters.
Yes. The Chimera Ant arc was a huge turning point, I think. It exposed the association's vulnerabilities and highlighted the potential for corruption and abuse of power within its ranks. It also showed us, the idealism and determination of the younger generation, who are less willing to just accept the status quo.
Gon, Killua, Kurapika, they've all witnessed the darker side of the Hunter Association firsthand. They've seen how the pursuit of power can corrupt even the most well-intentioned individuals. And they've also experienced the consequences of the association's failures, the loss of innocent lives, the destruction caused by unchecked ambition.
Exactly. And that shared experience could create a really powerful bond between them, a shared desire for change. What if they become the catalysts for this revolution, challenging the old guard and demanding a more ethical, transparent approach to Nen and its implications?
Imagine a scenario where they rally other disillusioned hunters to their cause, forming a faction dedicated to reforming the association from within, or maybe they decide to break away entirely, creating a rival organization that operates according to their own principles.
The possibilities are endless. And with the looming threat of the Dark Continent expedition, the stakes couldn't be higher. Imagine the tension between these two factions. The old guard clinging to tradition and authority, and the new wave demanding change.
It's a classic clash between generations, but with the added complexity of Nen and the dangers of the Dark Continent. Could the association's survival hinge on their ability to bridge this divide?
Or will their internal conflicts create an opening for external forces to exploit? Remember, the Dark Continent isn't just a test for individual Nen users, it's a challenge to the entire Hunter Association.
It's a high-stakes game of survival, and the players are just beginning to make their moves. But we've got one more piece to add to this puzzle, one last theory to explore. Hisoka's true motives. We've talked about his desire for the ultimate battle, but Is there something more at play? What's driving him, deep down?
Hisoka's character is a tapestry woven with enigma and intrigue. Stick with us as we attempt to unravel those threads and explore the depths of his motivations in our final segment.
And we are back for the final round of our Hunter x Hunter fan theory showdown. Man, we've covered some serious ground today. From Gon's potential specialist abilities to the mysteries of the Dark Continent and the uncertain fate of the Hunter Association, these theories really make you appreciate just how deep this story goes. But there's one character we keep coming back to, one who always seems to be lurking in the shadows, pulling the strings in Hisoka. We've talked about his thirst for a good fight, for finding the ultimate opponent, but is that all there is to him? Is he really just this, bloodthirsty jester with a deck of cards?
Yeah, Hisoka's definitely a complex character and a fan favorite too. There's this theory that his actions might actually be driven by something deeper than just a hunger for strong opponents.
Hmm.
What if he actually believes that pushing others to their limits is necessary for their growth, even for the evolution of Nen itself?
So he's not a villain, he's like a twisted mentor figure, pushing people to unlock their true potential, even if it means putting them in danger. But, I mean, how do you explain his, well, let's just say his unique personality? He seems to, really relish the chaos and the danger, almost like he's, toying with his food before he eats it.
It's true. Hisoka can be incredibly sadistic. There's no denying that. But that doesn't necessarily rule out the possibility of a deeper purpose behind his actions, right?
Yeah.
Remember, Nen is deeply connected to one's mental and emotional state. Perhaps he believes that true strength can only be forged through intense conflict, through adversity, that by pushing others to the brink, he's actually helping them break through their limitations and reach a new level of power.
Okay, that's a pretty dark philosophy. But, I mean, I could see how it could fit with how he interacts with Gon and Killua, right? He sees their potential, and he's clearly invested in their development, even if his methods are a little bit unconventional.
Exactly. Think about his decision to spare Gon during the Hunter exam, right? He could have easily killed him then and there. But he saw a spark, something special in Gon, a raw talent that he believed was worth nurturing. And his constant interventions in their lives, often putting them in these really dangerous situations, it can be seen as a twisted form of training, forcing them to adapt, to grow stronger.
So he's not just looking for strong opponents. He's creating them. He's shaping them into the kind of fighters that can eventually give him the challenge he craves. Like he's playing a long game, investing in his own future entertainment.
Precisely. And it makes you wonder, what happens when he finally finds an opponent who can defeat him? Does he accept defeat as, I don't know, a sign that he's fulfilled his purpose? Or does it just fuel his desire to find someone even stronger, someone who can finally push him to his absolute limits?
That's a great question. Does he have some kind of end game in mind? Or is this just an endless cycle for him? Always seeking out new challenges, always pushing the boundaries of power and potential. It really makes you think about what drives him, what motivates him to keep playing this dangerous game.
And that's the beauty of Hisoka's character, isn't it? He's a constant source of mystery and intrigue. We can analyze his actions, we can dissect his words, but in the end, we can never be truly certain of what's going on inside that mind of his.
He's a reminder that even in a world with superpowers and, fantastical creatures, the human psyche is still the most complex and unpredictable element. And sometimes, the most captivating characters are the ones who leave us with more questions than answers. Well, we have explored some truly wild fan theories today, haven't we? From the potential for a specialist Gon, to the idea that the Dark Continent is the origin of Nen, to the possibility of a Hunter Association revolution. It's amazing how much these theories add to the story, how they make us think critically, question what we thought we knew, and explore all those possibilities hidden within the world that the author created.
Whether you agree with these theories or have your own interpretations, the important thing is to keep exploring, to keep questioning, and to keep that conversation going.
The world of Hunter x Hunter is vast and full of mysteries, and it's up to us, the fans, to try and unravel them. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. And remember, a hunter must hunt.